Hello, my name is Jes McCauley, and today I'm going to talk to you about PEN America, an organization that works to promote freedom of expression in the United States, but is also a chapter of an international organization that advocates for freedom of expression around the world. PEN America's mission statement perfectly sums up the organization's goals. We champion the freedom to write, recognizing the power of the word to transform the world. Our mission is to unite writers and their allies to celebrate creative expression and defend the liberties that make it possible. So a little background and context of the organization. Founded in 1922 and headquartered in New York City, PEN America is a nonprofit organization that works to protect free expression in the United States, ensuring that people everywhere have the freedom to create literature, to convey information and ideas, to express their views, and to have access to these views. Some famous early members of PEN include Willa Cather, Robert Frost, and Eugene O'Neill. Today, the organization consists of over 7,200 members of writers, journalists, editors, poets, essayists, playwrights, publishers, agents, and devoted readers who support the PEN America mission. Many of my favorite writers are past and present PEN America members, and I wouldn't be surprised if yours are too. An interesting fact on the name PEN America, it was originally conceived as an acronym, poets, essayists, novelists, and was later expanded to poets, playwrights, editors, essayists, and novelists. But over time, as membership expanded and included just like a larger, more diverse range of people that were involved in advocating for free expression, the categories really didn't define the membership. And today, the PEN in PEN America no longer represents an acronym. The organization mainly works to produce original research on pressing threats to free expression, advocates for writers and policies that bolster freedom of speech, and celebrates literature through awards, publication, and programming. So how do they do the work? Here's just a sampling of what some of PEN America does in action. They have programming, awards, and initiatives. So they have a couple free expression programming. The Campus Free Speech program basically raises awareness of free speech on college campuses. The Press Freedom Incentive Fund really just supports members and allies of the press to mobilize communities about press freedom and the importance of information access as one of the foundations of a healthy democracy. They do have an online harassment field manual, which helps equip writers and journalists with tools and tactics to defend against hate speech or trolling, which unfortunately is pretty common in the current internet landscape. And they also have an Artists at Risk Connection program, which is basically a hub of more than 700 organizations working to protect artistic freedom around the world by improving access to resources for artists at risk. They also have a number of initiatives that kind of is about amplifying lesser heard voices. There's the Prison Writing Program, which provides incarcerated writers with mentorships and connections to audiences on the outside. There's Dreaming Out Loud, which is for young, undocumented writers, and the Emerging Voices Fellowship, which provides new writers with the tools and skills they need to launch a professional writing career. Finally, PEN America sponsors a number of literary awards, which you may have heard of, such as the Open Book Award, which is presented to a book of any genre by a writer of color, the PEN Hemingway Award for a debut novel, the Gene Stein Book Award, which is the biggest award technically. It garners the winner the most money, presented to a book of any genre for its originality, merit, and impact. And finally, the PEN Volkner Award for poetry collections. So you may have heard of that or seen that label on some of your favorite books. Next, I want to highlight some of the quote-unquote differences between PEN America and the American Library Association. While recognizing that both of these organizations are fully committed to issues of freedom of expression and intellectual freedom, PEN America is technically more focused on the freedom of expression for the writer, while ALA focuses more on the consumer of information. it kind of boils down to the freedom to write versus the freedom to read. One is focused more on the freedom to write, and one is more focused on the freedom to read. As mentioned at its core, PEN America is a writers' organization and focuses on issues of freedom of expression for the writers whom they support, defend, and encourage. While the American Library Association has a more broader focus when it comes to issues of intellectual freedom. They advocate against censorship, but also want to address issues of access to information, privacy of library records, meeting room policies. They just have a broader range of the type of intellectual freedom issues that they focus and support on, in contrast to PEN, who mostly focuses on writers. Both organizations are known for their support in regards to issues of intellectual freedom and censorship. The ALA offers support to libraries facing book challenges, while PEN America offers their support to writers that are currently being censored. This, again, aligns with both organizations' focus. PEN is mainly for the writer, where ALA leans more towards the reader. It is a library organization after all. So, both organizations have slightly different alignments, but are passionate about defending intellectual freedom. They can rally around some shared goals. They support free expression through the production and dissemination of materials such as books or newspaper articles, reports, things like that. They both provide resources for those facing intellectual freedom challenges, and both aim to educate the public on issues of intellectual freedom. So while they might align differently, they do have a lot of ways they could work together that would be beneficial to both organizations as well as all the members that they serve. So I've come up with a few ideas for ways in which the ALA and PEN America can work together for change. Starting with something that just happened, Banned Books Week. It provides a huge opportunity for collaboration where both could work together on programming, publicity materials, and virtual events. Because PEN and ALA already promote Banned Books Week, it would be super easy to come up with some shared strategies to educate readers on censorship and the danger of banning books. Another way they could work together is to focus on prisoners' rights. Both organizations take a stance on this statement and on the situation, and they could really work together to advocate for prisoners' right not only to read, but to read and to write. Fundraising comes into play as they are both nonprofits. PEN and ALA could collaborate on events and drives to increase funding and membership, therefore increasing the ability to defend and educate about pressing intellectual freedom issues. And last but not least, workshops and programs. Both organizations could partner to provide virtual programming, which would be currently, or maybe hopefully eventually in-person workshops at libraries to educate patrons about issues of intellectual freedom. Just some general thoughts, maybe a program about the current threats to intellectual freedom, hosting a speaker who's had a book been banned or who's experienced issues of censorship. You could also have a workshop that deals with how to address issues of censorship in your daily lives. You could also do fun stuff like a Banned Books Week trivia contest, or, libraries love craft programs. I'm sure we could come up with a craft program that would support both organizations. Ultimately, they are very devoted to defending intellectual freedom issues and have great potential to work together to defend free speech, fight against censorship, and keep people informed about pressing issues within the field.